All right, I think I'm live. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? If you don't know me, I'm Ryan Curtis. I'm a comedian. Use that term lightly. I own a record label, Overcaffeinated Records, and I write for the music site New Noise Magazine. And I am bringing you what I think is a pretty fun podcast. I don't know. A lot of white dudes who look like me make podcasts and just spout their stupid bullshit, and I'm gonna try not to do that. This is get into it, right? And the whole point of the podcast is to talk to musicians, comedians, people like that, people in an art form, and the specials or the albums that got them into that art form. I don't know. I think it's fun. The merging of the two worlds, two things I love, music and comedy. And yeah, I don't know. I really hope people dig it. We have an awesome guest today. We're going to have awesome guests every week. I'm going to say that every week, even if I hate the guests. You just, it's stuff you got to deal with, you got to learn from. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I really appreciate if you're checking this out. I don't know how many views I'm going to get. I guess you don't do it for views, right? You just do it because it's kind of fun. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. That's what I'm doing here. This is a one-man show. So, yeah, I don't know. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And, guys, let's get into it. See what I did there?
Get into it. Press play, don't quit. Feel the vibe. Talk and listen live. Get into it. Hit subscribe, don't sit. Join the crew. Every week something new. Nostalgia.
Well, our first guest is the very funny Pete Eckenroth. If you don't know who Pete is a Philly comic, originally from South Jersey, and 26 years old. He plays bass. He is an Eagle Scout, and he has a well-documented substance abuse tendencies, which I love. Pete, welcome. Thank you for coming on my podcast.
What's up, Skater? Thanks for having me. I didn't know it was the first guest. This is sick.
Yeah, no, it's pretty dope. I also don't know what order I'm releasing this shit, maybe it'll fade out after like 2 episodes. Who knows? I love that you always say sub skaters at the beginning of your set. Like every time I say, hey, sub skaters. Where did that come from?
I think it started because we were at the W and grandma used to say sup scooter dudes. So I would get up right after him and just say sup skaters. And then I just autistically could never let it go. I was like, nope, that's just what I'd say now.
That's fucking beautiful. I love that. That's awesome, man. Yeah, how's comedy going for you? I mean, it's going pretty well.
Going pretty swell. Moving to Austin in like 7 weeks now. So
nice, man. Yeah, nice.
Making a move, booking myself a little mini tour through the South on the drive down. So if anyone listening, dude, if you live in Raleigh, North Carolina, Memphis, Nashville, Little Rock, Arkansas, or Shreveport, Louisiana, follow me on Instagram and come out to shows.
I love that, dude. Yeah, no, we're gonna promote the shit out of that. I love that. So I mean, you're moving to Austin. What are your plans once you get there?
Well, I'm working for a railroad company down there, so hopefully continuing to be gainfully employed. But just to do as much comedy as possible and to get to, I haven't been to the Creek in the Cave since it got out of New York, so I'm excited to see all the people down there and to hang out with Lamisi and Gardini again.
Hell yeah, man. If anyone doesn't know, Lamisi is Lemaire Lee. Very funny, super funny. Yeah, I mean, are you I gotta assume you're planning on doing the mothership, right? Like that's why everyone's moving there.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Fucking love that for you. Now here's a question for you. Are you afraid people will mistake you for me and vice versa?
That happens so often, particularly when I had the glasses, dude. There's like 4 comics that we all look like different levels of like if different weights of anvils dropped on me. It was like the baseline.
Yeah, I mean, we're all like weird, just like evolutions of each other, you know?
Yeah,
Weird
dude,
Pokemon evolutions.
we all have oddly round heads, and
That's fucking awesome.
yeah,
Um, that's beautiful. Now, you run the Second Street mic, right?
it's Two Street, baby. Yeah,
Two
Two Street,
Street. Yeah.
second to read. We're trying to lose the reputation of it being the slur mic,
The
but
slur. Why is it the slur mic?
because it starts at 11 o'clock at night, so the people that'll come out at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday tend to be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
That's fair. That's a fair.
Yeah,
That's a
so
fair
we
fucking
don't we
point.
don't encourage it, but it ends up happening. We ended up a lot of people being like, I don't know if you should be saying that, but it is 1 o'clock in the morning at a Tuesday night, so if there's a place to do it, I guess it's here.
Jesus Christ. That's hey, good for you guys. Good for you guys
Yeah,
for doing that.
yeah, dude, it's a
Uh,
service to the community.
yeah, you guys are just a salt lick for the crazy. Now if you've helped run that, and I think you've helped run other mics, right?
Yeah,
Am I
it
right
was
on that?
part of the team at the W. Bobby Ray's Tavern back when I started I was hosting, and then I was a K.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was like all that helped you? Just to be a better comedian or just to know how to run a room or whatever, whatever.
Well, I definitely think that like helping run shitty South Jersey open mics definitely gave me much thicker skin, having to deal with 65-year-old medically retired Navy people that are just hammered and pensock. And
Yeah, I
I
mean
wish I could
those
remember that
mics.
guy's name, but he was fucking crazy. That guy was at Bobby Ray's every week, and he was just like a 70-year-old man whose entire identity was wrapped that he was in the Navy in Korea.
I vaguely remember that. Oh,
Dude, there was one night he tried to fight Jesse and Neil. It was a good night.
that's great. That's beautiful. Why did he try to fight him? Just,
Oh, I'm
typical.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Jesse said that the Navy was gay or something. Just,
That's amazing. Oh my God, that's so goddamn funny. Yeah, I don't, yeah, Bobby Ray's doesn't exist anymore, right? That mic.
the mic definitely doesn't. I hope that the bar does. That place was great. $2 domestics on a Wednesday night was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. I only went a few times. I just remember it being kind of a free for all at some parts of the night. I remember Billy Strange, if you remember Billy Strange.
Oh my
He
dude, Billy Strange is a fucking pistol, dude. I hope he's doing good in Vegas.
Yeah, I think he's crushing it. Like occasionally I see him, on Instagram and stuff. Just like, oh, I'm doing these shows. I'm like, oh, good for you, man. Uh, I don't know. He got in a fight with some woman, and when it was just, it was such a weird sight. It was such a strange bar.
Dude, well, any place that Billy was at was the weirdest thing in the world, dude. What type of guy wears flip flops all year round and has disgusting feet? Like, I wouldn't be showing off my piggies if I had bunions.
Yeah, he was a strange cat. Maybe I'll get him on.
You should get him on, dude. Have him
Yeah,
talk about sounding or something.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember. Oh, he would get all into that shit. Yeah, I put a steel rod in my cock and then have people like hit
Yeah.
it or whatever he would
Oh,
say.
he used to do that bit about the German guy he hooked up with that wanted to put needles in his dick.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was. I could never tell if he was doing like some weird Andy Kaufman thing or he was just being himself.
I think he was just being himself, dude. I had enough car rides with Billy to be like, dude, you are the weirdest person I've ever met.
Good for him. Gotta love it. Um. So three of your So the whole point of the podcast, right, is I wanted to see like what things got you into comedy. And the three albums or specials you picked were Christian Finnegan's The Fun Part, Gilbert Gottfried's HBO's One Night Stand, and John Mulaney's New in Town, which I think are very interesting picks. Because I feel like Christian Finnegan, he is incredibly underrated.
He
And
was
I
he was the fucking best, dude.
Oh, he's great. He's fantastic. What? So like, why that? I mean, you've said like phenomenal joke writing, distinct uh takes on the form, uh jokes that are about the dumbest shit possible. But I guess like specifically like Christian Finnegan, when did you hear that album? You know?
Oh, so it was my parents got Netflix downloaded on our Wii when I was a freshman in high school, and it was the first thing that I watched. It was the first
Mm,
thing I ever saw on Netflix. I had grown up watching all of those I Love the 80s and Best Week Ever. And as soon as I loaded up Netflix, it was the first thing that popped up, and I recognized his name from I Love the 80s. And then just
that.
immediately, yeah, it was the first stand-up that I ever watched on my own volition.
Okay. All right. So that was like, but that wasn't your intro to stand up, right? Like at least the art
No, my
form and
parents had shown me Raw and Delirious when I was like in late
beautiful.
elementary school. But that was the first time that I felt like it was like my own. It wasn't a legacy act. It was my parents being like, "This is culturally important." It was the first thing that I stumbled into, and I just rewatched that special today to try to like refresh myself to talk about it. And it holds the fuck up, dude. It is great.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are some of your favorite jokes on that? And like, do you think
Oh,
those jokes have kind of had an influence on how you write or how you perform?
well, so I mean, the title joke of the special is definitely, in my opinion, the crown jewel of it. It's like the whole thing is that like America is the greatest country on earth. We're the greatest, but we're entering our Jordan on the Wizards period. That it's like 10 seconds left. He's still the guy you want taking the shot, but it's not nearly as accurate anymore. We're coming to the end of our run. America's going downhill, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Because downhill is historically the fun part. You know, you, when you're going downhill is when you don't have to pedal anymore. Like we spent 250 years pedaling up this mountain, and now we get to have fun for like 30.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Shit, that does hold up. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
and and all of his jokes are from that special. All they are influenced by the world around, like the time that it's being recorded, but they all still ring true. Like there's nothing that he's talking about that isn't still an accurate representation to what we're experiencing now, which I think is very unlikely to happen in most stand up that isn't, kind of alt, that isn't characters, that isn't.
Sure. I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely, and that's so interesting. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people whose jokes or maybe even an entire special or whatever like just kind of stand the test of time. And yeah, no, I mean that's phenomenal.
And I just got added to Tubi like last week because it had been nowhere on the internet for like 2 years, and it just got added to Tubi again.
Oh,
So
perfect.
yeah, so anyone who's listening, go check it out. It's a good special.
What about Gilbert Gottfried's HBO One Night Stand? I feel like that I feel like that's an interesting I feel like all three of these are very interesting pick kind of combined together. Um
Oh, that Gilbert Godfrey does what I think is the single funny, greatest stand-up joke ever written in that special. And that is just one time I want to hear a black guy say, "So today there was a Jew in the elevator. I don't even think he lived in the building."
that's really good.
Yeah. Well, like it is so just ape shit. I mean, he does like 15 minutes of ripping up napkins and pretending they're squids in the middle of it and
Oh
complaining
my
that
God.
comedy has abandoned its squid-based humor roots.
That's insanity. I feel like he's kind of one of those guys who was I don't know, a bit out there, kind of like Norm Macdonald. Like Norm Macdonald obviously had uh his like very long-winded jokes that the punchline was just so far removed from the original thing, you know? And it's a shame. I don't know, Gilbert Gottfried, like everything was always just about his voice. Any joke, like there's that one video of him reading 50 Shades of Grey,
Yeah.
and like the whole thing is like, oh, well, his voice is this way, but he's reading this thing. Um, and yeah, people don't really talk about his joke writing, which was
Oh, he is I would say of my top 10 favorite jokes of all time, he has written 7 of them.
really.
Yeah, I mean he has that joke about the Michael Douglas getting throat cancer. Do you know this one?
Oh
He's like,
my God, I don't.
Michael Douglas got throat cancer from eating his wife Catherine Zeta-Jones's pussy. I think that throat cancer is a small price to pay to be allowed to lick Catherine Zeta's pussy just once. You could give me leprosy for just one sniff of Catherine Zeta-Jones's pussy.
Oh my God, I've never heard that. That's fucking hilarious.
Dude, that and he's got that and the Hitler's grandson being a pedophile.
I don't know if I know that one.
Hitler's grandson is a convicted pedophile. Do you know how big of an embarrassment you have to be the thing that the Hitler family is ashamed of? Like, yeah, he killed a bunch of people, but at least he didn't fuck a kid.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Gilbert Gottfried has, 7 of your favorite jokes, like I think it would be crazy to think you weren't like your jokes haven't been inspired by him, right? Like obviously, like uh he has had a huge influence on you.
Oh, the biggest, but it's also the fact that all of the jokes that I've written that are influenced by Gilbert Gottfried don't work.
Why do you
And
think they don't work?
because I think that I think one of the biggest lessons you have to learn in trying to do comedy or trying to do music or anything artistic is that like just because of what you like does not mean that that is what you're naturally going to be acclimated to doing. Like
Okay.
the jokes that have always worked for me and that have like turned into things that feel like building blocks to to build upon to the idea of we are one day having a special or having an hour that I could tour with are all come down to like they're all very grounded. They're very real. There's not. But anytime I write a joke that I feel like is Godfried-esque, it's just unnecessarily offensive and also not grounded enough to the world around it for people to be able to like tap back into it or get back into other material afterwards. Like
Interesting.
but I think a lot of my jokes that are a little fucked up or definitely have a very distinct Gilbert Gottfried run through it.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you told me before, like one of the mics, you're like, yeah, if my joke doesn't work in like 3 mics, I just drop it, right? Like, do you still
Yeah,
do that?
if it doesn't work, well, now I've kind of raised the amount of time if I really believe in it. But yeah, if I go like, if we do 5 different rooms and this new idea hasn't worked in any of them, or it's just not gonna work. Like, because I don't know, if you can't sell them on the premise in the first place, then like whatever the minutia of it isn't going to adjust that at all.
Sure. So, do you think? So, will you keep that idea and be like maybe later it'll work, or you just like it's in the trash forever?
Yeah, there's a joke that I've been doing lately that was from like what a lot of it is realizing that stand up wasn't the right form for it. Like I wrote a sketch a couple weeks ago that me and a couple other people are going to try to do. They're like was based on a stand up thing that I tried to do when I was a year in, and I now just realize that it's not the forum for it. Like
Interesting. Okay. That's
that.
how often do you find that happening? Either like, a joke isn't working or you go, "Oh, this isn't even the right. I shouldn't even be making this a joke. It should be a sketch or it should be like a script idea or something like that, right?" Like,
I'd say every I'd say like this happened 3 or 4 times now that I've like in hindsight been like, oh, this is a sketch. This isn't like I used to do this thing about how I'd want my funeral to be done. It's like
Okay.
I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of like an old I don't if my friends are coming to celebrate me, I want it much closer to the black funeral experience than like a Catholic wake, you know?
Sure.
But like my ideal funeral would be, for it to seem closed casket, and then one of my buddies accidentally knocks the casket over to reveal that I'm not inside. All of the lights go off, and then I get descended from the ceiling like a marionette puppet while the Space Jam theme song starts.
I remember. Oh my God, I remember you saying something like that, like this
Yeah,
years ago. Yeah, I
yeah.
remember distinctly. That's such an unhinged thing. Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's not that it's not a stand-up. It's not a bit. It is definitely a sketch that I do not have the means to produce right now. You know,
Sure.
I do not have a rig to descend myself from the ceiling. I don't know how I would even do that.
Oh my God, that's such a funny idea. If you can make that as just your limp body coming
Yeah,
down.
just yeah. The original idea was that like when I decided to try to make it a sketch like years ago was supposed to have Cody and Paul Carson marionetting me.
Oh my God, that is so fucking funny. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that idea. I really hope someone funds that and you can just do that.
I hope they do, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was Pimp
Um,
My Funeral. It was like a fake TV show that for like
Pimp
Pimp My
My
Ride, Pimp
Funeral.
My Funeral.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Like, man, you've
Yeah.
always loved Carol Spinney. You wanted to be a Muppet your whole life. This is your opportunity. Like,
That's amazing. Oh, I really hope you get I really hope someone just funds that.
yeah.
I want to see that. Um all right. So the last album you picked was John Mulaney's New in Town. Um and why that one? How has that influenced you in doing
It
comedy and like your joke writing?
was the first comedy show that I paid money to go see.
Okay.
Like
Like
as a
actually in
teenager.
the theater?
Yeah, I saw it at the Troc, like when he toured it before this,
Wow.
like after the special came out. And like it was the first piece of stand up that I saw that like I had to put my money where my mouth is for. That I was like, this is so good that I have to go see it. It's also just front to back. Like it was in my opinion, it was the sparking of the wick that led to the comedy boom that we're in now. Like I think
Interesting.
that special specifically is when everybody got back on board with stand up. I mean, he's got that joke about why do you he's like, I had a babysitter growing up that in my mind was like 30, and I now know that she was 3 years older than me.
Oh yeah.
That's like getting a horse to watch your dog, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just has such a good. I think he's a really good storyteller, right? And he definitely has a very unique voice. It's almost like he's a 1940s baseball announcer, like just how
Yeah.
he talks and how he presents it. Um, Now has that kind of helped you find your voice in doing comedy, or um,
I think the biggest like takeaway from me was that like you can you can write a joke about anything. Like it doesn't have to be because I don't know. I did theater growing up, and like I was like very into musicals, and I had been in like a couple of bands, but like everything always felt. I always assumed that things had to be deeper than they had to be.
okay,
Like things had to be very deeply connected. You should be talking from your soul. And then he gets up there and talks about SVU for 20 minutes.
right.
And I'm like, oh, you can do whatever you want. Like whatever is the thing that catches your whimsy, there you will find a market to see.
100%.
And
Uh,
I think that was the first time that I realized was that I mean just that and front to back that special is just fucking perfect. Like there is just
yeah.
every joke hits. There's no lulls. There's no
I agree
Like,
100%. I mean, yeah, I mean that kind of put. Now, was that the one that put him on the map? I feel
yeah,
like
that was
that
the.
was. Yeah.
He'd had like an album come out, but this was the first like special. And again, that was like an early, like not Netflix original, but like as soon as it came out, got picked up by Netflix.
Right. Yeah, I remember watching it because I had heard the I guess the one that was on his previous album, the Salt and Pepper Diner bit, and yeah, and I remember this coming out and being like, wow, like this is a this is a really good special. Um
Yeah, it was. It
now
also was the first time that I saw someone that in my mind I viewed as young doing comedy successfully. Like, dude, I
interesting.
think
Okay.
I watched that and like Donald Glover's Weirdo around the same time in high school. And I think it
Okay,
was the
yeah.
first time that I realized that like, oh, like this is not a thing. You don't have to be a legacy thing to do this. You don't have to have been doing this for 10 years. For you haven't had to have had credits for 20 years to be able to do this. Which I think is why like, I started doing stand up in 19. Like I think that that's why I felt comfortable doing that was like people that I viewed as, in my head I was like these people are 6 years old. I'm 14 and you guys are 22 and you're doing this.
Yeah.
Like I can there's no reason I can't do this. Like
100%. And I think you've made like a lot of strides in, the because you've been doing comedy what, 8 years, 10 years?
a little over 7.
A little over seven. Okay, yeah. I mean, you've made amazing strides in the 7 years I've known you, right? Uh so do you think John the new in town special, do you think that got you, do you think that's when you were like, all right, you know what, I'm doing comedy, like nothing's gonna stop me, like
Well, I mean, what got me to be like, I'm doing comedy is because I got in a fight with my mom while going to community college. I was living in my Subaru Crosstrek for 2 months, and 2 weeks in, I was like, I need a hobby. I can't just be sleeping on my friends' couches and smoking weed. I
that's
gotta have
fair.
something to do. Like I was like, so then I just went on Facebook, found the Comedy Network, and then started DMing everyone that seemed roughly my age, and was like, Hey, I'm not 21. Does your card? I want to come to the open mic. And
That's
then yeah,
beautiful.
Nate Jones hit me back, and I just started hanging out at the free house. Like
There you go.
yeah,
That's
but I mean, and, it
beautiful.
was, and I also think that like stumbling into the right open mic to start at the was the perfect thing to happen. Like my Gardini and Lemaire, I met and Dorian, I met my first night of doing stand up. Like
Okay.
Gardini was the host of at Free House that night, and I met Lemaire and Dorian, and I immediately like I can't thank them enough that they immediately were like, "Oh, most people starting suck worse than this. We're going to make a concerted effort to be your friend, so you keep coming out." And like I don't know if my life would have been wildly different if the right people hadn't just scooped me up immediately.
100%. Yeah. No. Yeah, man, I remember seeing you at Free House all the time. I don't yeah, that's done, right? Like no one
Oh,
does that
that's not
anymore.
even called the free. It's a different it's a different bar now. It's no longer a British themed restaurant.
That's probably for the best. No one likes fish and
Oh,
chips.
dude, they had tikka masala pizza there that I used to eat
Did
every
they
week when
really?
I was a 20-year-old. Yeah,
God damn. That does sound
yeah.
fucking.
It was tikka masala, yeah, chicken tikka masala pizza they had. That was, and then $1 mystery shots. This was dollar. I would black out as a 19-year-old nearly every Wednesday on dollar mystery shots from.
That's fucking hilarious.
Dude, it was
Um,
it was the greatest. I will say though, getting scooped up made me, I think, a lot less understanding of other new comics. I mean, honestly, until like a year ago, because a lot of people start doing stand up and they talk about how clicky scenes are and how it's like, everyone's so clicky and everyone's just books their friends. And I never thought that was true until I realized like a year ago, it was like, oh, I was never not in the cool kid clique. Like
sure.
I was always in with the people that people thought were being clicky. So I never realized that everyone else was having a hard time. I just thought I was like, well, you sucked. Why would we book you?
That's so funny. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's in anything, right? Like, I don't know, you want to get a job as like a marketer. Well, you know a guy, like you're gonna hire him over like some random guy
Yeah,
who,
random Joe Schmo.
yeah. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I get it, and at the same time, like I also get the other side. I don't know it's such a weird thing to navigate.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean,
uh,
if I get an honorable mention for the thing, dude, what every Jeff Dunham clip on YouTube while I was in middle school was also, I'm sure, a huge influence on me.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
remember being in like sixth grade and watching Ahmed the Dead Terrorist and Walter the
sure,
Cornfield,
yeah.
like Jose the Jalapeno on a stick. Like it
I,
was just
well, I feel like there was a point where like Jeff Dunham dominated Comedy Central for like either his specials were always on or like he had a show at one point, I
he
think.
did great. That show was weird.
Yeah, I don't remember it that I don't think I ever watched it.
I think that was the first time I was ever disappointed by comedy is when Jeff Dunham had that show on Comedy Central, and I was like, man, this is
Really?
so much worse than all of the specials were. And
Wow.
those don't hold up anymore because he's just being racist for like a lot of it. But
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, hindsight's 2020, right? Like I guess a post 9/11 world people were like, "Nah, it's fine." Uh, you say you are a you have a well documented substance abuse tendencies. If you had to pick a drug, which one is your favorite?
see, okay, that's a loaded question there, Ryan Curtis. Uh, that's a very loaded question. Probably, well, I don't know. My relationship with weed was very strong for a very long time, and it has definitely simmered out in the past year. Mostly just because I realized I don't know if I ever actually liked it. I think I was just scared all the time, and like I don't know if that was actually good for me forever. Um, I don't know. The issue, the tendencies of abuse tend to come from the fact that like if I'm not, I'm so afraid that if I stop doing the thing that we're all doing for the night, that I am going to be the reason it stops being fun. So
Interesting.
it's like,
Wow.
oh, it's like if everybody's drinking and I stop drinking, if I only have 3 beers and everyone else has 7, well, now I'm the reason I'm that we're not having as much fun as we could have been because
Hmm.
I can think too much. I can realize this is a bad idea. But everyone else is having a good time and I'm the bad guy now. And I'm like, no, let's not jump off the bridge into the lake. No, there's probably lots of fish hooks. It's probably not a good idea. But if I was hammered just as hammered as everybody else, then I'd be like, let's fucking go. And then we'd have a story.
Now, do you think I don't know, do you think any of your drug use or whatever you want to call it, substance use, uh do you think any of that has helped you in comedy, whether it be writing or performing or even just networking?
Well, I think smoking weed is the greatest social tool that's ever, again, and smoking cigarettes. I mean, smoking cigarettes outside of open mics is the greatest
Sure.
networking strategy in the world. Like, you have something of use, you have a way to be locked into people, you get to have more intimate conversations than you would if you were inside all the time. You can be real for a second. And I think that smoking a lot of weed has definitely allowed me to be more silly than I think sober me would regularly write things.
Okay.
Yeah, more likely to be
Huh.
whimsical than my normal self would be. I also think it's giving me stuff to talk about. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Like I don't have a bit that I've been working on lately about how like you know, I think it's everyone thinks that cocaine makes you angry or it makes you like I don't think that's the case. I just think that I'm more willing to lose my teeth when I can't feel them. Like if I can't feel my teeth, I'm not too worried about you knocking one of them out. Like this
For
is
sure.
fine.
That's
Uh,
fucking funny.
yeah.
Um,
The most detrimental drug was I had a real whip it run like 2 years ago, and
oh,
that was
sick.
yeah, dude. Shout out Quick Stop in Port Richmond for delivering whippets on Uber Eats in the night. But there was a while there that was how I was spending every night post. I'm like I would stand on top of my bed with the whippet canister, and I would just do as many whippets as I could until I fell down onto my bed, and then I'd go to sleep.
Oh my God. That's fucking hysterical.
It was a great
Holy
fucking
sh-
time, dude.
Um, now Does your grandpa still not think autism is real, even though people like you and me exist?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. My grandpa has never not thought autism was real.
I love that joke.
Yeah, he's always been pretty aware of its. I mean, again, the man has a fucking puzzle room and
Sure, yes.
has had a has owned he got into fixing radios, TVs, and appliances in the 60s because he was like, I just like taking things apart and putting them back together. I think he figured it. I do think he figured out at some point that he was probably had a little splash of autism,
For sure. It's beautiful. Pete, what are the dates for your shows? Your little run going down to Austin?
So I will be it'll just be from the 23rd of August until September 2nd. I am adding more dates as I go down, so please just check out the Instagram and see for when I get official ticket links for stuffs. Again, if you know anybody in these cities, anybody who may listen, book me on more shows. I will stay in all of your cities as long as I can. I need to be in Austin by September 13th when my job starts. But until then, I'm willing to extend this tour until I have to start being a logistics analyst for a freight railroad again.
Love it. Yeah, you can check him out at Pete Eckenroth on Instagram, Pete Eckenroth on TikTok, and Pete Eck42 on Twitter. We'll have those links on, in the description and stuff. Pete, thanks so much for being on. I appreciate it, man.
Dude, thank you for having me, dude. It was nice to chit chat with my bud.
Always a pleasure, man.
Get into it, press play, don't quit. Feel the vibe, talk and listen live. Get into it, hit subscribe, don't sit. Join the crew, every week something new. Nostalgia.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. I fucking love Pete. Pete is one of my favorite people. I've known him forever, as long as I've been doing comedy. Great dude, and I wish him all the success in the world. He fucking deserves it. He makes me laugh so goddamn hard. He's so fucking funny. Some stuff to plug. This is coming out Friday, August 9th. I have a show tonight in Philadelphia, Next in Line Comedy. If anyone's listening, please get tickets at the link in my bio or show up. I don't know where the show is. I should really figure that one out. But please come to that. I am roasting John James, another funny comedian from South Jersey. A lot of good comics on this showcase, including John Montag, Matt Peoples, Meg Gepps, Paul Carson. Lots of funny fucking people. And then I believe Next in Line has a show after that. So definitely come out, come support that. As far as everything else, I have some stuff on the Overcaffeinated Records website. So go get some merch, help me clear up my house. And I give free shit. People get free shit. It doesn't matter. You order a record, you're going to get something else. You order a cassette, I'm going to kiss you on the lips, all good stuff. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Join me next week where I interview another comedian. Very funny people. And yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Catch you later.